Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and today I'm talking to engineering manager Andrew Kusyy, who also has been working as lead data scientist. So if you're interested in data science topic, want to know how to become data science, what skills should you have, what is the future for data science, do you really need Python, and what is the COVID impact on companies that are hiring data scientists, please continue watching and don't forget to subscribe my channel and click like.
Hello, and thank you for the chance to talk to you. As data science is very popular today, and a lot of graduates are actually interested in data science. So my first question is, could you please share your path to this profession, and did you get any degree in technical studies, or what was your first step?
So first of all, thanks for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. As with regards to how I started there, so originally I was studying at the Applied Sciences faculty, and I started my career as a software engineer, but very quickly realized that in software engineering, I do enjoy the most communication with the clients and then doing something more of harder around data structures and algorithms, and not doing the coding itself. So I very quickly realized that I need to move somewhere else. And I've started exploring the options. And a few options were data engineering and data science. To be honest, I at first started with the data engineering. I had a fellowship at SAP in the big data department. And then I actually started studying at Ukrainian Catholic University at the master program of in data science. That was probably my best education decision. That all really driven my curiosity towards data science. And eventually, I started leading the projects and leading the team of data scientists. And that's exactly what I'm doing. What I'm doing now. 2.5 years now. I've been working as a lead data scientist. So what I've been doing, I've been at some point leading a team of and managing a team of data scientists and especially computer vision engineers. That was at the time when I was at Softserve. Also, I was responsible for, working with the new clients, working with the clients and leading the projects. So the projects, basically making sure that we are delivering in time and we are choosing the right architecture, the right technology. As of this day, soon I'm starting as an engineering manager at Grammarly, the team that is doing machine learning and machine learning infrastructure.
Yeah, actually, it was my question about your job responsibilities. So how do you think, what is the most important qualities and skills for this position?
I think the most interesting point and the biggest challenge and the hardest actually skill you need to have is if you're a lead data scientist or you're managing a team, you cannot go very deep into what is done in the project. You cannot know the details of all of the streams, of all of the features. It's just impossible. But your knowledge tends to be quite shallow, but it still need to be up to date. So you still need to understand the latest, the cutting edge research, the state of the art, and you still need to be able to understand, advise, validate the decisions of the team while being very thinly spread and widely spread in all of the things that they are doing. And especially if it's a consultancy or a services company, you will have a lot of different projects in all types of industries, in all types of problems. The skill that you need to have, you need to be very curious because you need to spend a lot of time educating yourself. In order to stay fit with your knowledge of the industry, while also doing all of the communication stuff with the client, with the team, and the reporting bits, so that there are some bureaucracy you need to work on too.
What is the difference actually between good manager, engineer manager, or lead data scientist and the bad? Is it possible somehow to estimate this, evaluate or not?
I hope I'm not the picture of a bad one.
Yeah, sure.
Let's hope. No, actually, I'm not yet sure. So the partial answer which I have today is, especially for the engineering manager, you need to, you are working with people, and as a lead, you are working with people too. So the technology becomes a secondary thing. People becomes the first priority. So how to manage expectations of your clients, how to make the team work effectively on the things that they are most efficient in. I think the unsuccessful lead or unsuccessful engineer manager is a person who is doing too much micromanaging, person who is controlling everything and trying to be everywhere. Because eventually, with the time, as the team grows and as the number of projects grows, you simply becomes bottleneck. You simply start to be a bottleneck in all of the processes, in the communication. And if you are not empowering your people and not delegating and not leaving something to their responsibilities, I think you eventually won't be able to perform as a lead or manager successfully.
Okay, so as you are managing team, what skills or mix of skills you want in your team? Like, what is important for you?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a question that, again, I'm still exploring. I think that there are certain levels to that question. First of all, depending on the project, you need to have a certain technical expertise. So like team members need to have a certain minimum technical expertise. But technical expertise is usually something that it's a must-have, but it's not the only decision point. So even like for me personally, even more than a technical expertise, I would regard the will to learn, the desire to learn, and the desire to self-development in a person, and the passion towards the job. Because I think that the person that have a very, very good base, that understand the basics and understand the theory, and just maybe not have the very specific skill you need. I mean, the person who is very good computer scientist or a data scientist who've done very interesting projects in I don't know, for sentiment analysis, and maybe they don't have a skill to do topic modeling or something slightly different. The person, if the person is willing to learn, will eventually, learn that new thing. On the other hand, there are people who are very good experts in a certain things, but they are, have no desire whatsoever to continue their development at the point. I think this proves to be more difficult. And also it's a communication style. So very important that people are team players and they are ready to communicate. As I said, answering the previous question, I believe that it's very important to empower the people, to give them to give them opportunity to take the responsibility, to take the lead, and the person should be ready for that. I mean, it's very easy to work with people who are eager to take the responsibility, take the lead for the future, and then just help them, support them, instead of just trying to push a person to do something.
Many people are asking, they're really asking about like Python, SQL, and other courses. How much time will it take to learn everything? What do they actually really need to learn? So, and you also said about minimum technical experience. So how do you think, how much SQL or Python is needed for a data scientist?
In my team in particular, and in the teams that I've managed, Python is something of a must-have. So it's you won't be able to work without a certain knowledge of Python. I'm not saying about being an expert in Python, being able to knowing all of the coding, all the how those are called, coding like a pro. It's a data science at the end. It's machine learning. So you could be a mediocre developer, but you still need to know how to write efficient code. In terms of SQL, actually, as it happens for projects that I've been involved to or led, I never needed SQL. So because those projects, the data were usually unstructured data or stored in NoSQL database. So I would say it depends, because at this moment, I'm speaking mostly about machine learning projects. So the
Mm-hmm.
projects that are specifically for the development of certain machine learning algorithms in NLP, computer vision, or conventional machine learning, but still on a like building ML models. While there are other data scientists and other data science departments who are, for example, working with the customer base or doing A/B tests or things like that, and they or other types of people who are, I mean, analysts for the financial industry. So those, the later ones could perfectly well survive with R skills and no Python skills. While for the first one who are working, I mean, as a data scientist running A/B tests, working
Mm-hmm.
with the customer doing statistics, maybe they will need more SQL to extract the data. So in my case, I think the Python and knowledge of coding in general is crucial. Knowledge of data structure and algorithms is crucial, while SQL is good to have, and all the other things are, I mean, meaning the technology are optional. I mean, and are related to the projects that we are running. If it's a computer vision project, there will be a certain set of tools you need to know. If it's an NLP project, that will be a very different set of tools you need to know.
Okay, and one more question. How do you think, what is the future for data science? Because there is a theory that programmers won't be needed in such numbers in the future because of rapid development of low-code or no-code platforms. So do you agree with this point, and how do you think could it happen the same way to data scientists?
Yeah, that's a good question. So being in the industry for a few years now, um, I have a theory that the data scientist job, or rather, and I'm talking mostly about machine learning
Mm-hmm.
part of it. Data scientist job as it exists now will probably no longer exist in 5 to 10 years. But I think it will be divided into two roles, in my opinion. So first role would be a rather data science architect. So the person who is using a lot of very, as you said, no code or low code tools. But as the number of tools is growing, you will need, like, the industry will need people who could efficiently and effectively use those tools and connect them together. It's like with big data happened one time ago. At first, that was just the source code written specifically for the problems, but then tools started to appear, and now we have so many tools that we need to have so many big architects who are capable of connecting those tools and setting up those tools. So I think that very, I mean, I've seen how the problems that I've used to solve 3 years ago as a full-time project for a few months are now being solved by a no-code or low-code platform like AutoML, or I'm not even speaking about platforms like Data Robot, which are much more powerful. So it's like very competitive to be in here because you need to I mean, advance your skills a lot and either learn a lot of new tools and learn how to use them, or the second path and the second part of the job, I believe, would be people who are very deeply specialized in something. So even now, like, industry started with having data scientists, and that was the general term for everyone. But now we are seeing that there are machine learning engineers, and even within machine learning engineers, you would have computer vision engineer or computer vision researcher, and let's say NLP engineer and NLP researcher as a separate job titles. So I believe this pattern will continue, and like right now, you have a computer vision engineer who is solving like problems in object detection, object segmentation, video processing, and all of those. So this is, but the industry is growing, and I believe in the future we will have people who are specifically experts in, let's say, segmentation. So they will be a segmentation, like computer vision segmentation researcher, or object detection researcher, or video processing researcher, and then we will go deeper and deeper in that. So things that are well studied, like classification or regression problems right now, or object detection problems for common objects right now, will be automated eventually with the low code or no code platforms, and we'll need people who will manage those platforms, while very specific things, and I believe that research will continue itself, very specific things will need people with very specific skills. So if you are a generalist, you will rather become an architect. If you are a specialist, you will rather become a researcher eventually. That's my opinion. And I think that all works up until the point we discovered general artificial intelligence, or we are no longer needed at all. But I don't think that will happen very, very soon.
In terms of all of these things, don't you think that jobs in data science area like machine learning are overrated jobs? I mean, it's very popular now, but don't you think that it shouldn't be like this, that programmers or developers are more valuable professionals for companies?
Oh, that's a dangerous question. Being a data scientist and having a lot of people who I know are developers, I would be very careful here. But jokes aside, I don't find that the data scientist or machine learning engineer is more valuable than a software engineer. It just happens that there are, like, at the most of the companies, there are far less data scientists and machine learning engineers than there are developers, because of how the things evolve. You need first to build something that will start generating the data. Then you need to have a lot of work to gather the data, and only then you will start having the data and could generate some insights. But even as insight, and this is the part of the data scientist, and then even as those insights are generated, you then make decision and improve your product. So you get need developers. So basically saying, though without software engineers, I don't believe data scientists will have any job, because there will be no systems, there will be no data. So it's a hard question, who is more important in here. I think it's that all of the species are vital to this ecosystem. But I'm seeing the hype of people moving to data science, but I don't think I think it's because of the demand and just. But I know a few people who studied to be a data scientist and decided not to be, and still are working as software engineers. So it doesn't mean that if you're a software engineer, you need to move into data science that you be a better software engineer. It's just a different career path. And as I said at the very, very beginning, I've chosen because I like I like to understand the business problem and build something upon the data much more than I like coding itself. Coding for me is just the necessary instrument that I'm using in order to achieve my goals. It's not something that gives me much pleasure. So if that would be, I would probably never switch to the data science, and will not have to prepare a lot of PowerPoint presentations or Jupyter notebooks or talk to people for hours. So it depends what you like. But I think that data science actually, also there is an important point. Data scientist was named the sexiest job of 21st century. Yeah, so that's probably drives a lot of people to go to that job. But looking at the market now, I think if you are looking for something on hype, you rather go to cybersecurity than data science, because data science was on hype for too long, and I don't think it will stay for long there. I think cybersecurity will eventually catch and get. So if you want to have a most interesting, most fashionable job, probably cybersecurity is a better choice.
I see. So you think that becoming data analyst is a declining trend, right?
No, no, at all. I think I'm just saying that it's becoming more and more regular for the companies to hire data analysts, data scientists, and it's just that it's not that novelty as it was probably 10, 20 years ago, to have a data scientist on board. It became part of a normal practice. And I think the demand is still increasing. So if you like things about data science or data analytics, and you are thinking whether that's a market that you will be able to find a job, I think certainly it's a market where you will be able to find a job for the next, I don't know, 10 years for sure. And also, I think was the remote first approach, and then was the crisis of COVID that we had.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of companies started to question their efficiency and their models, and a lot of companies started investing heavily in innovation in order to be more resistant towards future threats. And actually, data science and machine learning comes at the innovation. So even taking the single, task or a single sphere of the data science around intelligent automation, where you are replacing, where you're automating the things or creating a digital twin. After the remote work and after all of those attacks after the COVID, I think more and more companies are looking into automating as much as possible of manual work and leaving people more time to do more creative work. And companies want to be more efficient, more profitable, to withstand the future crisis that might happen. So I think it was a shake that actually given, at least in the number of projects that I've seen or in the number of requests that I've seen after COVID, I think it was very positive towards the industry, shake for the industry, because the demand actually exploded. Everyone wanted to know how can we work better? What can we do better? Use our data, just make us, work better.
Okay, and my last question, like, what would you recommend people that are just at the beginning of their way, like, in data science jobs or machine learning?
I could speak from my experience personally. Maybe it will be useful to someone, but it's not.
Yeah, sure.
It's not the only way. First of all, I would actually recommend to take some kind of a university degree, but the decent one, or at least a very detailed specialization in. I'm talking about machine learning again, in machine learning or data science. Why I'm saying that, I'm certain that there is a huge number of open materials. There is a huge number of courses you could take, and you could actually follow the curriculum. But I would take some kind of a degree as a guidance, and I think it's better if you do it within the university, like I did at the Ukrainian Catholic University, or even if you take some kind of a Stanford syllabus for their master degree or bachelor degree, and just try to just try to go through it and find the courses and manage yourself. Because otherwise, I'm seeing people who just take one course in something very specific, like who starts right away from computer vision and have no experience in algebra or statistics or anything prior to that, anything that are based in computer science. And often that leads to very dangerous mistakes, because people tend not to understand the concept. They could be very good developers, they could be very good engineers in the field, but they don't understand the general concept, and that leads to mistakes, and that leads to misleaded decisions. So I would say either to follow some well-based course, some well-based program in your education, or take a degree, but be very cautious where you take it. It doesn't mean that you need to go to any university, especially any Ukrainian university, and take a degree. Please choose cautiously, because not all of the degrees will help you. Now, second thing, I would say, build your portfolio projects. So take something that you like, take your passion, and try to find how to use data science there and build your portfolio project. Because if you have a portfolio project, when it comes to the first interview and you already have a project, it's much better than you just studied and you have nothing to do. It shows that you are passionate in the industry. It shows that you know how to do something. And why I'm saying to choose the project that is related to your interests or your hobby or your values, because it would be very hard to build the project at first. You like have a crazy idea, but you as soon as you start implementing that, you like, what the hell, what should I do here? I mean, I don't know how to write that, it's not working. And if it's something you don't care about, you will quit. But if it's something you care about, for example, you care about ecology and you want to and sorting of the trash, so and you want to build the solution that will actually like point the camera and tell you where to put your cans and bins and glass. So if you are passionate about that, do it. I mean, find the data set, it's not hard. Collect the data set yourself, it's even more interesting. Label the data set, build something and show that it works, deploy it to like do the full cycle. And if you're passionate, you won't have the desire to quit in the middle. And eventually you will get the working project and you will get satisfaction, and your chances to get the job will increase a lot. Finally, there are a set of very good platforms for data science competitions like Kaggle, but also there are a lot of others like Data Driven, or a set of data science competitions from the US government. If you don't have an idea, I mean, on top of your mind, go there and find the idea. There are like very interesting challenges to help, I mean, deal with the hunger in Africa, or help to optimize the electricity grid, where you actually could, first of all, learn something, find people who are also interested, and finally, if you are very lucky or very smart, win a prize, which all are good. And then if you win the prize or at least show a good result, it's again something to boost your CV. So I think those are three main points I wanted to say.
Yeah, even on the interview, it's better to discuss your code, whether like simple standard questions. Okay, thank you very much for this interview. It was nice talking to you, and I wish you good luck with a new job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much.